Who are you?
Who am I? I would say I'm Deanna, but I'm not sure that's true, because I think I'm actually some facet of God, right? Like each one of us are one little piece of God, and the total of us make up the whole God. Kind of like drops of water in the ocean. No single drop of water is the whole ocean, but every drop in the ocean of water is ocean, right? So I think I am a facet of a living divinity. Just one little piece. And the name we put on it is Deanna.
When did you decide you wanted to become a healer?
I think it's like it is for most people, right? I think it's just the what do they call it? The broken healer? Is that what they call it? There's a name.
The wounded warrior?
Wounded healer.
Wounded healer.
Right? I think it's just like everybody else, right? Those of us that have decided to, instead of stay in the mire and stay in the patterns and the pain that continues to generate the same problems, those of us that decide, wait a minute, I don't think that works for me, I don't want to do that. Those of us that did that are the ones that stepped forward and said, there's got to be a way, there's got to be something better. How can I feel better? How can I fix this? How can I be better? And I've spent 30 years racing, rushing, sprinting towards every modality that promised that it could help me. And in the process of doing that, you sort of uncover and realize and learn and gather this entire tool belt of things that you can use or that you can share or that you can help others to use to make them feel better, right? So I have 30 years on a journey of trying to just stop the hurting and fix myself that gave me all that I needed to try to help others. And here's the thing, for me, it's always been, my God, this was so fucking painful for so damn long, that if I can help anybody else not suffer that much, that long, then I'm here for it every time. Because it's like, here, let me reach down into the hole that you're in that looks a lot like the hole that I was in. And I'm gonna reach down and grab your hand and help pull you out if you want, if you're ready, right? If you're asking, I'll help you come pull up so that you can stand on the ground and shine your light. Because when you're in the hole, no amount of light is getting out of that hole. No matter how beautiful you are, no matter how amazing or what you've learned or the nature of your being that's beautiful, people can't see it when you're in the hole. So I was in that hole for so long, and it was so painful. I just felt like nobody should have to.
Did you have periods of time where you went into a dark night of the soul, and then you come out for a while and then find yourself back into another dark night?
Yeah, unfortunately, I would say I've probably had more dark nights than I've had light days. There's moments that things have been, amazing, but I think because the trauma and the complex post-traumatic stress, right? It was wired in at such a foundational level that trying to figure out how to free my life from that pattern has been impossible, actually, until I met this equipment. Every modality that I tried, some of them worked and they would move the dial a little. They'd move the dial an inch, But I was looking for a quantum leap because it was just too damn painful. And so when I met this equipment, that's when I found that over the last 9 months, it's rewiring my brain out of constant fight or flight. I can't tell you. Here's the thing. Chris, it's so profound because I never knew what it was like to not feel fight or flight constantly until now.
How would you describe, if someone's never experienced those triggers like fight or flight, how would you explain it in like one sentence?
I'll say this. I don't think there's anybody who's alive who hasn't experienced some version of fight or flight. You know, whether it's like there's a dog that is, aggressive and jumped the fence and running after you, you know what I mean? Everybody has experienced a fight or flight moment, whether it's bullies or a dog or your bike almost sliding off the edge of the hill and you're going to be tumbling down. Everybody's experienced that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just some of us have had to live there 24/7 and trying to figure out how to operate in the world in a way that's kind and gentle and loving when you have all of this constant radiating fear taking over your body going, oh, we're not safe. It's like, wait a minute, it might be okay to go to the post office. It's just the post office.
Mm-hmm.
We're not safe. I don't know what my subconscious is responding or reacting to, but I know it thinks that something isn't safe at the post office. So how can I'm always trying to figure out how I can fix those things. But this equipment, the scalar wave, is more profound, and I would call it magical myself because I've never seen anything like it.
It's almost like only the short time that I've experienced it, like maybe a total of 3 hours. I mean, I've came to some pretty revolutionary epiphanies.
Right.
And just running out and it's almost like it's alive.
I agree. Here's the thing I'm going to tell you, okay? I think a lot of people, fellow owners who have these machines, a lot of people who go to these facilities and go to centers that have the scalar equipment and the EEsystem, I think some people think it's this magical technology that's doing this scientific stuff that's triggering your body to heal itself, and it's awesome. And I agree with that. But I honestly believe there is something so much more profound about this equipment that if you move from the physicality of it, my physical body going in there getting healed, the physicality of these stacks of computers in the four corners, if you move past that and you begin to dive into the field and immerse yourself in the field and then partner with it, that's the thing. I don't know how many people are partnering with it like it's a living energy, right? I think they're like, yeah, this is cool, it's amazing, go in there and sit down and, you can get a deeper meditation, some people have improvements in their diabetes, some people have improvements in their eyes, some people have improvements in their incontinence, some people have improvements in their long haul COVID, but that's the physicality. I'm finding
it almost recognizes, from what I can intuitively pick up, as it's like the field knows what you need.
But I also think the field knows what you're showing up with, because I think some people come and they're like,
oh my God, that's why the other day when I was sitting there and my first experience, and I haven't meditated in forever, but my first experience was that triggering of like when I was 6 months old and like abandonment issue with my dad. I mean, it was short and it's like very sweet, but why would that ever come up?
Right?
I haven't thought about that in forever.
Because I think that there's something in that for you that will help to heal you, right? And so when I have experienced this and I've started to be on purpose about how I engage. I'm going to go in, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to bond, and I'm going to partner with this field, this energy, and I'm going to ask for me to be clearer, more loving, more supportive, more kind, more gentle, more delicate with human beings, more delicate with people. And I'm learning something that I always wanted. So obviously the field knows that this is something I always wanted. I always wanted to know how to live a little bit more like the Dalai Lama, right? Because I'm like, well, the Dalai Lama is kind and funny and easygoing and always jolly and happy. Why can't I be like that? Well, for one, the Dalai Lama got to be raised on a mountain somewhere where everybody came to teach him because he was divine. You know, everybody came to say, you're a very special, amazing creature, and we are here to help foster you, teach you, guide you, and help you become the leader that you need to be. Okay, well, I didn't ever have that. I know a lot of other people that didn't have that, right? So here I am coming from a place of, you know, violence and difficulty and abuse and molest and bullying and all of that stuff. Asking, why can't I be like the Dalai Lama? Well, maybe, because I wasn't raised on a mountain surrounded by people telling me that I'm important, valuable, and divine. But I still would like to get there. I would still like to be that peaceful, that patient, that gentle. I still want to be that, all those good things. And this equipment, this field that it's created, we called this field ZeNora.
ZeNora?
ZeNora. Actually, I didn't call it anything. When the equipment was installed and we turned it on, knowing that it would just be on forever so long as the solar panels are going, the equipment's never going down because we always have power. And so I sat down and meditated quietly and I said, do you have a name? And that was the first thing that I heard was ZeNora. And I was like, okay. And I felt like the energy that it in that field has a different personality than mine. And when I ask to commune with it, I notice that I can feel different inside. I notice that I feel less tense, less worried, less, I don't know how to explain, less tense, right? There's
like you're lighter.
Yeah. But not only lighter, it's almost like just a little more detached, right? A little bit more detached where it's like, it's okay. It's all okay. Even if it's not okay, it's still okay, right?
It's almost like you can feel, or at least when I was in there, it's almost like you feel like the energy is like, if energy could hug you. It's like, you know, it's a subtle hug.
Now
it's like you know, everything might not be perfect right now, but everything's going to be okay.
And I'll tell you, when the gentleman came to install the equipment, one thing that he said that I kind of took to heart right away is he said that the energy field that's created seems to bond or connect or follow the influence of the person who's either managing it or owns it or is in it the most, right? And I really thought about that. I'm like, okay. And he said that he went into, he installed some equipment, and then later he had an occasion to be back through town, and he asked to stop by and see if he could just sit in it for a while. She said, yes, of course. And he said that usually when he's in the field, it feels a little bit like surfing, a little bit like just kind of riding the waves. But on this occasion, her energy is much more uptight or active energy. And so it felt a lot more like a roller coaster. I was like, okay, interesting. So I took that to heart and I made it my intention, and I became on purpose about trying to make sure that I can be more calm and more centered and meditate a little bit more and get in there and make sure that I am participating by asking that divine presence to come into this space with this field and double the love and double the healing and double the gifts that it can give to people who come and need them and want what it has to offer. So I'm always communing with that energy and asking for more for the people who come. I'm asking blessings over every one of them every time we play the singing bowls, and I am taking the time to speak gratitude for each and every single solitary person that shows up here. When they're sitting in those chairs, I'm like, thank you, God, please bless them and pour extra energy through this field into their bodies. So I love how it feels to not only feel better myself, but be able to be the testimony that can encourage or invite other women who've been violated and abused and other people that are really struggling in pain, to invite them in to say, look, this worked for me, and I have things that are similar to the pain that you're experiencing or have experienced. And if it worked for me, it might work for you. Let's give it a try. We of course don't make any promises, because everybody's body is different. And everybody's body, their physicality, is going to respond differently. But I do think everybody who goes in there and decides that they want to partner with that energy on a soul, mind, spiritual level, I think they're going to find miraculous things happens for them too. It's just surprising to me that it's so much more than a physical repair, a physical machine doing something to this physical body. It's more than that, I promise you. Especially if you are looking for it or open to it. And I'm not sure that everybody is. I think most people are just like, oh, my body hurts, this hurts, that hurts, and they just want to fix their physicality. And I'm like, but you're leaving so much on the table. Do you know how much you're leaving on the table if you just come into a scalar system and sit there and wait for your physical body to be healed? When actually it could be igniting your heart, igniting your soul, changing and shifting the brain in a way that it can be more loving and compassionate and calm. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine how much the powers that be would lose control over the entire population if they moved to a place where they were calm and centered and they couldn't be driven by fear? They couldn't be controlled by the next terrible thing that's about to happen on the cusp, on the horizon, right? How much could we take control back of our entire community if we could participate in something that shifts us into a place of centered calm, knowing, a centered calm knowing.
Listen to the crickets.
They're singing. I think I saw an article where they talked about when they slowed it down, when they recorded crickets and then they slowed it down.
God's cricket chorus.
It's amazing.
When you if you record crickets and slow it down 800%, it actually sounds like a human choir.
That doesn't surprise me, and I think that's what I remember reading in that article. But do you know what else happens? Not only do the crickets sound like a choir when you slow them down, but the birds sit on power lines in harmonious configurations if you took a picture and translated it to a score of music. Did you know that? Birds sit in a harmonious song on the wires.
Oh my gosh.
No kidding. Isn't that amazing?
Because sometimes you look and it's like 1, 2, space, 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 1, 2, 3, 1,
up
2, 2, 2.
Right, one's up here, one's down here, one's up,
5.
up, right? And then it's like...
So everything's a song. Like the universe is a song.
It's so funny that you should say that.
So maybe, the crickets are in tune because they're all singing together. The birds are in tune because they're
sitting
on a wire,
and they sing, of course.
Like music of the spheres.
But you know
humans now.
You know what I also read articles about some of the native tribes in different countries, and they talk about how when somebody falls outside of their beauty and they're doing things that aren't kind or nice or right or honorable, they all gather around and sing their song to them. In some cultures, mother sings a song to the child when it is born, and that is that child's song of their heart, of their life. So it doesn't surprise me that there's a song of the universe, a song of the spheres, a song of the birds, a song of the crickets, a song of us, a song of our own heart, and divine melodies and music.
Yeah, and everyone has a part and an intro and an extra, and it's just like, major life events happen, and you think, why is this happening? But it gets you to exactly where you're meant to be, because I should be at work right now. But I'm here, and I'm happy I'm here.
Me too. Very much so.
I love the way the camera is right now.
You're delightful, and I appreciate you.
Jay. Oh, the interview's not done yet. I'm just going to show Jay. Look how great that looks. It's vintage.
Yeah. That's cool.
Let's meet Jay. Do you want to introduce Jay?
Oh, Jay, one of the most beautiful human beings I have ever met, who just treats every person with such love and gentleness, respect and kindness. I have never had anybody.
The best hugger.
I've never had anybody I work with who makes me feel so grateful, comfortable, and proud. Really, I'm so proud, because every person that comes here, they say the same thing. Yeah. They're like, Jay is he was so kind to us. He was so helpful. I'm like, I know. That's what Jay. I know, because that's what Jay is.
I think on like a macrocosmic level, just like the way the universe sees us, it's like service to others is so huge, and people can tell when it's from your heart, and it's authentic. So.
I think the only struggle I have is, Jay and I were talking about this earlier today, the only struggle I have is trying to keep that balance between where we make sure that we're charging, and we're charging what is the standard price for everybody else, and when we give sessions away because people need them, and it's like, okay, where's that balance? Because we still have to pay, we still live in this physical world with, the mortgage on the equipment and all of that. But I have a tendency to want to give probably more than I should, because I just want them to feel loved and feel better and feel renewed and restored, and I want them to have it. I want them to have the feeling better.
I have a feeling you're going to get very busy very soon. It's going to happen, which it already is. So. What's the ceremony coming up? The Sacred Sage
and Sound ceremony. And it's on the new moon. So exciting, because not only will you come up and there's this lighted path that you'll have to, kind of take a look at, but and luminaries, and you're going to have some music. But when people come, we're going to invite them to come with a short list of things that they want to release out of their life, right? Just write them down and decide what it is you want to let go of. And then bring it to the ceremony, and we will put it in a bowl and we will burn it. And then we will take these sage herbs that are a Native American tradition, and we will allow the smoke to wash all over your body, wash away negativity and heaviness and any darkness or sadness, and wash all that away with that smoke. Cleanse you, invite you into the center, and then give you a new piece of paper with a new pen where you can write down a short list of things that you want to bring in now with the new moon, right? And when you write all those down, and then we're going to have a bowl in the center of the sanctuary in the vortex, and you can put your prayers in that bowl in the center and allow the vortex to hear and work on and marinate those manifestations that you're asking for. And you can choose to either pick it up after the ceremony and take it home with you, or you may leave it, and we will leave it in the center of the sanctuary for 2 weeks. And then we'll take them and we'll just burn them. So all of that while you're getting 2 hours of scalar exposure and 2 hours of sound bath from these amazing musicians with crystal bowls and didgeridoo and Native American flute and steel drum and large chimes and what else does he play? Huh? Oh, the gongs, yes. And triangle and all of that, bells, all of that at the same time, just filling the sanctuary while, that's not all, and yet there's more, while there is a light show being cast all over the ceiling in the room. So it's light and sound and scalar frequencies and releasing and calling in all in the same evening. It's an amazing experience. And it's very exclusive because there's only 11 spots.
Only 11?
Only 11 spots. Because everybody has to lay down. And we have to have all the music and all the musicians and all their instruments. So we have to have space for everybody to lay down and really relax on their yoga mats or on their or on any of the, convertible chairs, because we have 6 of those. So we've had it twice and it's really quite lovely, and it's only getting better, especially with the new moon ceremony, where we're really consciously taking the time to let go of things, release them out of our lives, and call new things in. Because I think half of manifesting and participating with this energy, the scalar energy and the field that's in there, and our lives is about being conscientious about what you're choosing, about what you want. I mean, how often do we actually sit down and think about, this is what I would like to have happen today. This is what I would like to create this week. This is what I want to put on my vision board to think as my, my chief aim. That's what one teacher I listened to a long time ago, he always would say, what's your chief aim, right? When we're conscientious about that and we take the time to think about it and give it attention, I think it makes all the difference in the world. And this field, it helps.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And the sound ceremony is going to be October 14th?
Yes, 7 to 9.
From 7 to 9. Mm-hmm. But the scripts for letting go will be done prior to that?
I am going to encourage everybody who comes, we're going to invite them to write down, to take some time to think about it before you get here.
Yeah.
What do you want to let go of? What do you want to release? And then as you release and let go of those things, and we use the smoke and the sage.
It's coyotes.
I think that's raccoons. You don't think so?
Oh, wait a minute.
Eyes out there?